Hey guys, welcome to another project in the series about making videos. This project is another version of Cheela. This time we're going to step up another notch and learn how to put zippers. Now you might think, oh gosh, that's so difficult, I can't do it. I'll make it easy for you, and that's a promise. When you see that this pattern is actually made for cut and sew zippers, and you will be able to get a really neat finish just like I did. I promise you that. You may not get it the first time, but you will get it the second time. So I advise you, if you're going to use this, use it on the lining first and then on the main part of the fabric. And that way you would have got used to the first one, and the second one will be so much easier. As we go along in the project, I will explain it to you, the size of the zipper and how to use it and how to cut your panels. These panels are actually slightly larger than you need, so you can actually trim it to the size of your lining. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the project.
To start this project, we need two types of different fabric. I have taken a black rigid denim. This is about 8 ounces in weight, and we also need 2 zippers. You can work with only 1 zipper, but I've taken 2 because I'm just going to mix and match on both the sides. I have already cut out my strip for the handle. You also need patterns. Out of the patterns, we need number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So number 1 to 5 pattern pieces you need. We're just going to go through one by one. We also need some bias tape, and we also need some lining. For the lining, I have taken a really thick canvas, and this will give me a lot of structure to the bag. The main printed fabric is left over from the previous project. I just wanted to show you that how you can cut. In case if your print was not going this way, we could have cut this print this way as well. So this would be widthwise, and cutting this way would be lengthwise. Because my print is going in a certain direction, I'm going to place my pattern like so. I'm going to cut 2 in each one of these patterns. This is number 3, 2 and 4. And the same panels I'm going to cut in the black denim as well. And the lining will be this pattern where you have the corners cut off. So this is the pattern for the lining for this design. I have cut out all the pattern pieces. Let's go through one by one. This is your lining. I'm going to keep the pattern piece aside. And the lining is cut off in the corner and on fold. And here is your center panel. Let me explain how this is done. And this is the zipper panel. There's a top zipper panel, bottom zipper panel. Now the side panel has got 2 layers. It says cut 2. So let me just arrange it in the way that we are going to sew. Okay? And your zipper is going to go in the center like that. So we're going to bring these 2 together, and then we're going to bring these 2 together. In the cut and sew method, in your patterns, always you will have these panels. The side panels, the top of the zip panel, the bottom of the zip panel. Don't worry about how the seam at the edge looks, whether it's rounded or slightly narrow or this way, it doesn't matter. One of the things you need to recognize is that the top and the bottom zipper panels will have a few notches. In this case, we've got 3. You may have 4, you may have 5, but as long as they match each other, you're correct. Okay? In between these 2, we are going to attach the zipper. We also need a fabric for zipper pocket. I have taken a red cotton fabric. Now there is no pattern for this fabric because this is basically a rectangular piece of fabric. Now as a guide, you can take slightly wider, slightly longer than your bottom zip panel, because your pocket is going to sit like this, a little bit below and then above the zipper, and that's more than enough to put your hands in and put coins or any smaller item that you would want to put in your pocket. Okay, so let me put this red fabric aside, and I'm also going to put away the side panels. We're going to first work on the bottom and the top panel and also the zipper pocket. Okay, let's measure the zipper from the edge of the tape to the other edge, and that's coming to about approximately 8 inches, slightly less than 8 inches. I'm going to center it and then make a mark in the center of the zipper, which is 4 inches. And I'm going to make a mark on both the sides. Okay, so basically we need to match the notch on the fabric to the center point on the zip, like this, right? Now we're going to turn this over and match the notch to the center point and place a pin. Just one pin is enough. I'm going to show you what to do later on. We're going to open this up, put the zipper back the way it was before. Now turn the top panel over, match the zipper center to the notch, and then place a pin. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go, now that the pins are in place, we know where to sew. So we're going to go and sew from this edge to this edge. Okay, before we go ahead and sew, I just need to explain, this is the traditional zipper footer that we would normally use, but we're not going to use this because I want to show you a little trick using this one. Okay, so basically there is the pins we've placed, and we are going to start off at the end of the zipper. Because this fabric is quite stiff, I don't need to pin all the way through, but if you find this difficult, go and tack with a basting stitch that you could remove later. Okay, this is all about doing as little work but then getting great finishes. Right, now change your needle to wherever you need, because if you need your needle to go right away and sew till this end of the gap in between your presser foot, then do that. I'm just going to keep it in the middle because we only need like a stay stitch. I've fixed my needle length to medium, and let's just go and sew. Because we're not going to the edge of the teeth of the zipper, this will pass through quite easily. And also because this attachment here is going kind of edging the edge of the fabric, we are getting a really straight stitch. Okay, so we're going to go and do exactly the same from the other side of the zipper. You may find it a little bit difficult because of the puller is there. If you find it difficult to sew, basically just open the zip a little bit, like so, and then sew a little bit, and then pull the zipper back, and then go and sew the rest of the line. But I can sew without opening the zipper puller, so let's just go ahead and do it. Okay, here is the zipper we have just sewn, and that's how it looks from behind. This is the top panel, this is the bottom panel. Now watch carefully, we're just going to flip the bottom panel like so. Now take your pocket fabric and we're going to place it like this and go and sew a net stitch on top of the stitch we have already sewn. We finished sewing the lining, one part of the lining, to the bottom half of the zip. Now we need to iron so that the seams are flat. So let's hold the lining like this, pull it straight and pull the main fabric. That way the zip is sandwiched in between, and go and press with a hot iron. And again I turn it this side around and I press the zip towards the fabric. Now we're going to go and sew a top stitch to the bottom part of the zip. Not the top part, only the bottom part. Okay, I've not changed my foot. Just go back on the same foot. Then place it so that the edge is sitting there. And now I can change my needle to make it an edge stitch. And just go and sew a top stitch. Now as we come to the zipper, the puller is kind of hindering the foot to pass through. So I'm just going to lift it up, pass the puller back, and then sew. Okay, we have put a top stitch on the lining. Now what we need to do is just bring this over. Let me just close the zip. Bring this fabric over. Just make sure this is little above than the seam here. Okay, and turn it around, and let's just place a couple of pins, because all of this is going to be hidden inside. You won't see any of this at all. Okay, now what we're going to go and do is go and sew a top stitch on the other side. If you have noticed that I had pulled the zipper puller away from the beginning, now I'm going to lift my presser foot up and pass the slider through. Now continue to sew till the end. Okay, we have finished sewing the pocket. Now we need to attach panels on both the sides. So let's go ahead and pin this lining in place, because when you start sewing, if it flaps about and gets stuck in any of the seam, then it's a nightmare trying to remove it. So basically we have got these two panels with the notches. The notches go on the top, the notches go on the top. So we go ahead and flip this over, place it matching the notches, and it doesn't matter if this end doesn't match, don't worry about it, and go and mark a generous 3/4 of an inch seam. Okay, when you open it like this, it should be just after the zipper ends. If you want to be sure, just turn over your ruler and just make sure that you're not catching the end of the zipper here. So that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to place it like this and then make a pen mark. Let me just place a couple of pins so my fabric won't move. Okay, now I flip this over and now bring this one in on the other side and do exactly the same. I have already marked 3/4 of an inch seam. Let's just go ahead and pin, and then go and sew from here to here and the seam as well. We have finished sewing a pocket into the zipper. Now instead of attaching the denim panel on either side, we are going to attach the printed fabric. Now with this one, flip this over, match the notches together just at this point, and let me place a pin. Now this seam is not 1/2 inch, it is 3/4 of an inch. So basically when you lift this up, you just need to make sure that you don't see the end of the zipper, because that's the way the patterns have been made to give you a generous seam allowance. So let me just go ahead and make a pen mark for 3/4 of an inch so I can go and sew a straight stitch. Okay, I'm going to flip this over. The same way I'm going to attach this side as well. So flip it over to the wrong side, match my seams, and then make a 3/4 of an inch seam allowance. Just check that I'm a little bit away from the end of the zipper. So that's fine. Let me just go and place a pin, and we're going to go and sew a straight stitch from here to here and the other side as well. I have changed my foot to normal foot, and I'll just start and finish with a back stitch. I go ahead and do exactly the same on the other side. Okay, I have changed my foot to normal foot, and I'm going to start and finish with a back stitch. Now I'm going to go and do exactly the same on the other side. On one of the sides you will come across the zipper puller. You have to make sure the zipper puller is flat. Now let me just go ahead and see if I think I can sew. If you can't sew, and if you made your marking too close to the zipper, you might have to change it to the zipper foot, because zipper foot then will hold it like this and you can sew right to the edge. Here is the zipper panel we have sewn, and both the side panels are attached. All you have to do now is go and sew a top stitch, exactly the same procedure as you did on the zipper. Okay, here we have finished the panels. Now the other side, what I have done is I have put the print in the center, and I have put the print on either side, on the other side, so it's kind of a color blocking theme. Okay, so now we need to cut this to match the lining. Now it's very difficult to fold the zip halfway through and then place your pattern and cut. So the way I do it would be simply take your lining, because your lining is already cut as per the patterns. Place your lining on the top. So let me go ahead and mark and then cut both the layers of this fabric as matching to the lining. I have cut the 2 layers of the main fabric. Now we need to attach the handle. Handle I've already made up, just like the first project. If you want to learn how to make this handle, go ahead and watch a separate section on your DVD or on my YouTube channel. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this into half. We are going to attach the handle just on the denim here, and the other side it will go on the printed fabric.
Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you like the project. If you like this, give me a comment below, subscribe and hit the like button. I shall see you in the next project. Bye bye for now.